everybody, this is Chewy Plays Nintendo, and we're still over 8 months away from Animal Crossing New Horizons. Well, 252 days away, but who's counting? Anyways, the Nintendo Switch Lite was just announced, and those of you without a Switch are probably wondering what Switch is right for you. Well, let's talk about the console in terms of Animal Crossing. I want to talk about the pros and cons to getting New Horizons on the Nintendo Switch Lite. But first, if you all enjoy my videos and want to keep up with all my thoughts on the latest Animal Crossing and Nintendo news, please subscribe. So, there are a couple things I want to address that make the Nintendo Switch Lite a huge opportunity for Nintendo. For one, Animal Crossing sells way more on handheld consoles, and there are many people waiting to get a Switch for Animal Crossing. So both Wild World and New Leaf sold over 11 million units, while Population Growing sold just over 2 million, and City Folk sold over 4 million. Animal Crossing is easily much more successful on handheld consoles, seeing by, the sales for Wild World and New Leaf were just phenomenal, and New Leaf is still one of the best-selling games on the 3DS to this day. So overall, there's a big handheld audience for this game. There are plenty of people who just prefer Animal Crossing on the 3DS. They really, and I see these comments a lot, but a lot of people really didn't want to move on from the 3DS. They actually would have preferred, well, in some cases, some of them would have preferred to have the next Animal Crossing still continue on that console. So having another handheld option that is a lot cheaper and just easier for people to buy, I think that's a good thing to do, because this console is $200 versus $300, so people are going to be able to save $100, especially the people who are really only looking to play Animal Crossing. This is a great option for them, and I guess they'll need to not need some of the other features that the Switch comes with, at least the standard Switch, but the Switch Lite is a very good option if you're trying to save money. Many people also prefer handheld gaming in general, so if they only want to play in handheld, I think this is a good option. I kind of talked about this in my video a couple days ago about the Switch Lite, but I do think that the value of this console goes down as soon as you consider or buy Joy-Con, because Joy-Con, the price of your $200 console is going to go up about $100, and at that point you might as well have gotten the rest of the features with it. So I do think it's more worth it to get a full Switch console if you do want Joy-Con. But I did want to address another question. So Kevin Sund, on that last video that I was talking about, they asked if the Switch Lite would hinder the chances of an Animal Crossing themed regular Switch, essentially. I know it's a little confusing because we're talking about the Switch Lite and the regular Switch, but there's the small one, that's the Switch Lite, and then there's the regular Switch, that's the model that we currently have. So I still think that both a Switch Lite console and a regular Switch console that are Animal Crossing themed are possible. And most of those reasons are because I've talked about it. Like, handheld is still a big appeal for a lot of Animal Crossing fans. Like, they don't need to play on the TV. And, you see that through the historical data. Like, people are buying this game more on handheld than they are on home consoles. So the TV aspect to them is not important for a lot of people. I personally think it's important because it's been about 11 years since I've had an Animal Crossing on my TV, so at least one that has come out. City Folk was the last one, and I guess you could say Amiibo Festival, but, that doesn't count. We're not talking about the spin-off titles here. So anyways, if you don't care about playing on the TV, then I think it's fine. I think handheld is still appealing to people, and like I said, that lower price for that console is really good. Now, the reason I think there's still the possibility of having a regular Switch that is an Animal Crossing theme is because of one of the major new gameplay features, and that's the same screen co-op. So the Switch, it comes with its Joy-Con, and those are detachable, and once you detach them, you can easily share and play multiplayer games with people. For the first time ever, Animal Crossing New Horizons is giving us same screen co-op from the same system. Up until now, there has not been an Animal Crossing game that let us play at the same time as other people who share a town. For example, New Leaf. You could have up to 4 different characters in that town, and they could be played by different people. For example, say you have 4 different people sharing a town. There was no way for you to be in that town at the same time. You had to essentially swap and take turns and everything. And that's basically how it's worked since the first Animal Crossing. My first experience with Animal Crossing was the GameCube, and I played that with 2 other people, my brother and a good friend of ours. And we all shared, and we did that by taking turns. And so for the first time ever, we're going to have a console Animal Crossing, or just an Animal Crossing game in general, that lets us play on the same file. So if I got that same group together again for this game, we'd each be able to share our experience in this town at the same time. That's crazy. And so I think that's one of the hindrances with the Switch Lite. Like, out of the box, you cannot play multiplayer. Whereas out of the box, the regular Switch, you can, because you have the 2 Joy-Con. Now, there is the option to buy Joy-Con, but like I mentioned earlier, it's just not worth it with the Switch Lite, not the regular Switch. Sorry, that's gonna get confusing. But if you get the Switch Lite, I don't think it's worth getting Joy-Con, because I think that really diminishes the value, because like I said, you're gonna be losing money at that point, when you could have just spent the extra $100 on a regular Switch and gotten tons of features on top of that, instead of just a pair of Joy-Con. So, which Switch is right for New Horizons? I am going to say that it really depends on your preference. Like, the Switch Lite is great for those who want a handheld and personal experience. And it's also great for those who don't really need or want to share a town. You can really just do your own thing, which is kind of what people are used to at this point, since New Leaf has been out for the last 6, almost 7 years. So a lot of people are used to getting their own Animal Crossing experience, and, you know, they can still play with other people by visiting towns either locally or through online. So, you know, there's not a huge loss in terms of multiplayer, because there are ways around it. But if you wanted to share a town, you would have to give up the controller, essentially. You'd have to pass it on, give your console to your brother, your sister, your mother, son, daughter, anybody in your family, any friends too who play. You just have to give up that controller. Whereas with the bigger model Switch, the regular one that's out now, you can just share a controller and you can each play at the same time. So I think that'd be a very unique thing. Regardless, it is right for those who don't want to do that. And it's right for people who also plan on saving money. Like I said, it's $200, it's $100 less for a Switch. You get a big catalog of games, yes, but I know there are plenty of people who have been waiting for Animal Crossing to get their Switch, and maybe, you know, that probably is just an indicator that they aren't hugely interested in other games. I mean, I'm sure there are many who are, and they've mostly been waiting for that one game to finally push them over the edge into the console, and this might be the perfect solution for them. But regardless, I just feel like if you don't own a Switch and it's mostly been because of price, this is your entry now. You've got a much cheaper way to play this game. I also think this console is a great option for those who actually want a second island. As of right now, reports have said that each Switch is only going to be able to have one island, which means it's going to be very expensive for people to get a second island. For New Leaf, save files are saved to the cartridge, and that's not how the Switch works. The save files are saved directly to the Switch, so if you do eventually want a second island and don't want to spend $300, essentially you have a $100 cheaper option. That's still a lot of money to pay for a second island, but, you know, sometimes people run into the scenarios where they find out they don't want to share after they've been sharing for a while. So this is an easy way to address that, and both people will get their own Switch, and, you know, they can just get their own experience on the Switch. And, you know, that's Nintendo's goal. It's ultimately to sell everybody a Switch, so this is one way for them to do that. Now, as for the regular Switch option and New Horizons, this is a great option for those who really want that hybrid experience with the Switch. If you want to play Animal Crossing on the go and on the TV, this is going to be the option. You will not be able to play on the TV with the, Switch Lite. I'm sure there may be some ways around it later through hacks and things, but I don't recommend that. There have been problems in the past with third-party docks on the Switch that have wiped out the memory of your save files and stuff. So I'd be very wary about those things, just because like anything that's not officially licensed by Nintendo could come with its problems and its own set of risks. But if you do want that experience on the TV, which I know I do because I love the look of Animal Crossing on the TV. I can't wait to see this on my screen, but I also do love playing in handheld, and I travel quite a bit, so I think for me the hybrid nature of the console is very important. This is also great for those who want to easily be able to share a town, or those who kind of have to share a town. For example, like kids, some families have more than one kid, 2, 3, 4, you name it, but it's going to be an easier way to share the experience with them. Like if they can all play at the same time on the same screen, that's going to keep them from fighting over the console, kind of, just trying to get more time with the game, but having to share that, it can be hard. So I get that. I know I would personally be having a hard time, but it's also a different way to play. For those who have had that personal experience with New Leaf and want to kind of try something different, this is a good way to do it. I think the regular Switch is a good option because right out of the box, you have 2 players that can enjoy the game together. And yeah, that works for me too because there are 2 people in my household and we'd be able to play together. So I think it's nice. This is also a great option for those who want to Switch with extra features. You're going to get HD Rumble, tabletop mode, and just in general, some better access to all of the library of Switch games. But yeah, if you really care about those other features, the Switch does have a kickstand, whereas the Switch Lite does not. So you'd have to buy another peripheral to prop up the Switch Lite if you do eventually play, get a Joy-Con controller and everything. I don't know, I feel like the price starts to add up as soon as you want to upgrade from handheld mode on the Switch Lite. And if it's about saving money, you're gonna get a little bit more value out of the regular Switch if you do want those extra things. So saving money, both options can save you money, is essentially what I'm saying. Like if you are solely gonna play handheld and don't have anybody to share with, the Lite is the way to go. That's gonna be the cheapest, easiest option. If you are going to share and you want some extra things, the regular Switch is going to be the way to go because that's going to be the cheaper option, surprisingly. But anyways, this all really is probably going to depend on which design you like better. If the Animal Crossing Switch for the Lite version is just better looking to you, then you might want that one. If you prefer the look of the regular Switch and they have really cool Joy-Con that you're into, you might have that one. But I know it's going to be hard to say no to both of those consoles because I'm sure I'm going to like them both. So it's going to be hard to pick. I think it's going to be a difficult choice, but I hope this helps you, kind of informs you on what the drawbacks to each console is, and essentially I hope it just helps you find what the right choice is for you. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what console you'd prefer to play Animal Crossing New Horizons on, and I'm excited to see your own reasons and see just why you're choosing the model that you choose. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you all next week. Bye!